Just the other day we finally got the reveal of Battlefield 1, which has pretty much gone with the complete polar opposite to what Call of Duty is doing this year, with a World War I setting with of course horses, tanks and all that lovely World War I trench warfare probably in play. Now, one of the things that we know is being included is of course melee combat. It will have a mace and a shovel and maybe a couple of options as well. And we have some comments from the DICE producer Aleksander Grondal, and he has discussed a couple of things about the melee system. And he said, quote, the melee weapons, can break through different types of material when you use them. Certain weapons break through doors, but other weapons won't. Some of them are slower, but more deadly. Some of them are faster, but less deadly. That's the flavour you can play around with. The idea is that you'll find one that matches your personal taste, and of course it's cool to take down people with a bayonet charge. If you miss, you really miss. That's another type of flavour when it comes to their close quarters combat. I don't know what's going to happen around that corner. I'm going to charge around that corner. That's something we haven't had before. The most efficient way would have probably been go around the corner with a shotgun, but now we have a different type of choice to make with these weapons. Now, he also touched a little bit on the campaign mode, which is something that a lot of people are going to be enjoying alongside the multiplayer, which for a lot of people is of course the main meat of the game. And further, according to the producer Alex Grondal, it's going to be a bit different this time around. And he said, quote, we're changing it up this time. I can't go too much into detail, but the goal is for you to be able to explore multiple different stories from multiple different perspectives. Think about it like this. If something cool happened over there and something cool happened over there, we'd rather not have a story that jumps from all around the world. We want to have a personal, relatable story that we can tell in a space that would actually make sense to be. Where they would actually make sense to be, sorry. And they also want you to make sure that you experience what they're calling different gameplay flavours and thematic flavours. And he said, quote, for instance, in the trailer you see one of the characters, actually you see a few of them, but one of the heroines we have is on the horse. Her story takes place in Arabia. We provide different gameplay flavours and also thematic flavours, so it should feel different than our previous campaigns. Now, some people also wondered whether or not Battlefield 1 would be supporting DX12 or Vulkan. This was actually asked to Johan Anderson, the technical director at Frostbite at EA, as to which one they're actually going to be using. And he said, quote, we're implementing both and we'll be able to compare and see. Could be that we ship only with DX12 or only Vulkan or both. Well, both would actually be a lovely option to have. You know, we've seen very few games implement DX12 and of course even fewer with Vulkan support, but it would be really nice to have that option available and just have a little bit of choice for gamers if they perhaps don't want to use Windows 10 or whatever. And even just Vulkan support at all would be lovely, so it'd be interesting to see which one they end up going with. Of course, it's probably going to go down which is easiest for them to do development wise and of course cost wise and time wise. So some other interesting comments from Johan and Aleksander there. The comments from Aleksander are part of an absolutely huge interview, which I will link in the description below. I have touched on a mere sample, a mere appetizer, if you will, from this interview. So if you want more, I suggest you give it a read. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.